Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about both my children's sleeping routines. I have managed to somehow get my children to sleep from pretty much 6 weeks old every single night. Aretino more so than Gabriella. Gabriella from 6 weeks was sort of most of the time, but Aretino, as soon as he turned 6 weeks, he was down every single night through the night until the very next morning. So just for reference, I've got two children. One's Gabriella, she's almost 3 in October, and I've had my son Aretino, who will be 5 months in a few days. Because I do get asked quite a few questions, especially on Instagram, because I talk about it a lot more on Instagram, about what time I put them to sleep and what time they woke up and etc. So yeah, if you like what you see, please do hit that red subscribe button down below. I upload 2 videos every single week, and I upload things like shopping hauls, lifestyle videos, vlogs, and so much more. So yeah, hit that red subscribe button, give this video a like if you found any of the tips helpful. And I just want to say a little like side note disclaimer, obviously these are my tips, these are what we used in our home and they work perfectly for us. Some tips that I share may not necessarily work for you, or you might also not agree with them, and that's absolutely fine. So let's get into it. My very first tip is, do not let them sleep on you. I know I've listened to sleep trainers and I've spoken to like sleeping professionals, and they will always say a newborn cannot get attached to you. Well, not always, but some of the ones that I've spoken to. I personally do not agree with this, and my husband also did not agree with this. We feel as though if they slept on us, they would have that comfort and they would get used to only wanting to sleep on us. I have spoken to so many mums over on Instagram that have done this and have later on sometimes regretted it. Others don't regret it, but obviously, like I said, it's whatever works for you. Now, I personally think if I got used to having my hair played with every single night, or my back rubbed every single night, or I listened to spa music to help put me to sleep, I would get used to that. So of course a baby would also get used to it. That's my opinion anyway. So we made it a point that every time we saw him, every evening, if we saw him getting tired, we would quickly give him his night feed and put him straight to bed. And he's been amazing. He soothed himself and he settles himself to sleep every single night because of this. Point number 2 is get them into a routine as early as possible. So especially with Aretino, I think from around 4 or 5 weeks we got him into a really good routine. He had his two naps. It used to be, yeah, it was mainly 2 naps a day, and again, his bedtime routine would be anything from 7 to 8 p.m. every single night. And I have been a bit strict actually with his bedtime routines, actually a bit more than Gabriella, but I just don't want to like ruin that, because he's such a good sleeper and I really do want him down and asleep by 7:30, 7:45. I truly believe that a routine really helps them to get to sleep. So I strongly also believe that letting them self-soothe helps them put themselves to sleep, and just finding that something, it could be the dummy, it could be a teddy, it could be their thumb, it could be a bit of music at night. And also touching on that same point, we never actually use the white noise at all for either child. Point number 3, which is also a follow-on for the previous point, is letting them self-soothe themselves. So for example, my 2 children, they never had the dummy, but they absolutely love to suck their thumbs, and they just find it soothes them and then it puts them to sleep. Once they're asleep, they eventually take the thumb out, but it's just finding something that allows them to have that comfort for themselves. Obviously as they get older, so as Gabriella got a little bit older, again, like I said, she didn't have the dummy, but she had like those like she would have one of these soft little cuddly toys, and she still sleeps with this at almost 3 and she absolutely loves it. Not this particular one, this one's actually Aretino's, but she has about 5 lying all over the house. What I do have is this butterfly, and I use this for both, and it has like different settings of different sounds, and one I tend to put it on the same one every night, and it's sort of like a rainforest, and he absolutely loves that, and that also helps him to get to sleep. But that doesn't play on for hours and hours. I think it's on for about 15-20 minutes and then it switches off, which is amazing. Point number 4 is feeding them during the day. Getting them really full during the day will then let them have a better sleep at night. So the more full they are during the day, they will not wake up in the night, because they're not waking up, they're not hungry. They are sleeping because they have a full belly. So for example, I'll be honest, last night actually, which is so weird and I still can't believe it, it's just so crazy, but for weeks and weeks and weeks, Aretino has slept through the night every single night beautifully. Last night, for his night feed, he did not have his full bottle. So he normally has, he's now on 7 ounces every single bottle. But because the previous feed was quite close to his bedtime feed, that's just how it ended up working out last night. I think he was still a little bit full from the previous feed, so he only had 4 ounces when he normally has 7. So last night at 3 o'clock in the morning, he actually woke up. I was like still in shock, but he woke up. This is to show you. So he woke up and I knew straight away, my thoughts were, right, he's hungry. So I made him 6 ounces because it was during the night, and he literally guzzled the whole thing. So it just shows, get them into their right routine, let them have their proper feeds. I found that Gabriella was a very hungry baby, so we put her on hungry milk, and that really did the trick. We also did have to introduce some food, so I introduced baby porridge with her in the morning as well, and that was also just before she turned 5 months. And I know with the guidelines in the UK they say 6 months, but she was just too hungry, and as soon as I introduced more food and not just milk, she was then sleeping through the night herself. With Aretino, I haven't yet done that. He seems to be okay still with the 5 bottles a day, 7 ounces per bottle, but honestly, get them fed I mean, he's still feeding every 3 hours sometimes, but he's sleeping through the night. Point number 5 is distinguish between day and night. So I have the Moses basket here in the kitchen, well, dining, living room area. Will always have the light on, so this just tells him, oh right, it's during the day, it's daylight, and then when it's obviously bedtime, I close the curtains, I make it really dark. He doesn't have a night light or anything. Sometimes I leave the door very slightly open, but he then knows what's daytime and then what's nighttime. Number 6 is, we actually moved Aretino over into his room at 4.5 months old. Now that was quite a bit younger than Gabriella. Gabriella was 7 months old, but with Aretino, I could see that he was a really good sleeper, and actually it was either me or my husband that actually woke him up sometimes, or like one of us would make a noise, or we would even drop something in our bedroom, and he would sort of start moving from side to side, and you'd think, oh my goodness, he's gonna wake up now, he's gonna wake up. I just thought, you know what, if he's in his own bedroom, he is going to sleep so much better, and he has slept even better since we've moved him into his own room. Now I know, like I said, loads of people are probably going to disagree that that's far too young, but to be honest, again, I have spoken to mums that put them straight in from birth, from 3 months old, from a year old, from 6 years old. You are going to do whatever is right for you and what you think is best for you and your family. Point 7 is, as they get older, they need longer gaps between each nap, which I also find is helping him. So I think obviously there's the theory that if they don't sleep, they get overtired, and then they get grouchy, and then they just won't sleep at all. So I've noticed now that he's literally almost 5 months, he needs a longer gap between each nap, so he's also getting a great amount of sleep during the day now. On most days, he'll have his 2 naps at around 1.5 hours. However though, today, it's I think 11 o'clock now, and he's already been asleep for just over 2 hours. So it really does vary day to day, but honestly, getting those naps in are really, really important. Tip number 8 is find the position. This is so important because with Aretino, I just laid him on his back like I did with Gabriella. However, I realised after 10 days that during the day, if I just had him laying on my knee, that he seemed so comfortable like that. And I realised over time, and I experimented first with his day nap, that he actually loved sleeping on his belly, and he went much longer and went down so much faster every time I put him on his belly. So now, ever since he was 10 days old, he is a belly sleeper. Now I know, again, especially in the UK, I don't know what other countries are like, but they do advise us not to put them on their bellies, and I know it's very nerve-wracking. I didn't sleep very well for at least a week because I just kept checking up on him, but he has slept beautifully ever since I found the position. So find the position that your baby absolutely loves sleeping in. Right, so those are my 7 tips that I've personally been doing for both of my children that have really helped both put them to sleep from a very early age. I really hope you take away with this video some great points. I really hope you get to take away some great points from this video and it helped. Maybe there was a couple things that you weren't really doing, especially for first time mums. I've been there and it is really nerve-wracking. You don't really know what you're doing. You think by reading these books it's going to be helpful, and I mean, maybe they have been for some of you. But sometimes just talking to other mums just really help, and sometimes you pick up some points from other parents and you think, oh yeah, I haven't done that, maybe I should try it, and it could and it might not work. So yeah, I really hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel out, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.